Hello, my dear student. This is Sonia Kaushik, and today I'm going to discuss a chapter from NCERT from class 12th biology, and our chapter is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Alright, in this chapter, we have to do structure of flower, pre-fertilization structure events, double fertilization, post-fertilization structure and events, apomixis, polyembryony. Alright, so let's start this chapter. As you all know, flower is the reproductive part of plant. In some plants, male and female flowers are present, and in some flowers, male and female parts are present in a same flower. All right. Like this is LS of flower. This diagram you have done in class 10th also. This is the female part, gynoecium, and carpel you can say stigma, that contains stigma, style, and ovary. This is also called carpel and pistil. Now this is the male part, anther and filament. Anther and filament both constitute stamen, and this is also called androecium. Alright, these leaf-like structures are called sepals, and the part of flower from where we hold it, this is called pedicel. Alright, now coming to the pre-fertilization structures and events. As you all know, fusion of male and female gamete is called fertilization. So before fertilization, what are the structures and events that occurs? So let's discuss one by one. So first of all, we are coming to the structure of stamen, that is having anther, that is bilobed in nature, and this elongated structure is called filament. Anther and filament both forms a structure called stamen. In a typical angiosperm, anther is bilobed in nature, and we can also say as it have two theca, so it is called diathecious. Alright, and if we see the TS of this anther, we can see it is tetrasporangiate in nature. That's why this is called tetrasporangia. This bilobed nature of anther is very distinct in transverse section of anther. The anther is four-sided tetragonal structures and consists of four microsporangia. The microsporangia develop further to form pollen sacs in which pollen grains are formed. Now coming to the structure of microsporangium. If we see the structure of microsporangium, it contains four wall layers: epidermis, endothecium, middle layer, and inner one is called tapetum. Alright. So this tapetum, the inner wall, is generally provides nourishment to the developing pollen grains. And epidermis, endothecium, middle layers, these layers helps in dehiscence of anther whenever it gets matures to release pollen grain. When anther is young and a group of compactly arranged homogeneous cells that are called sporogenous tissue, and that will give rise to microsporangium. So the formation of microspore inside the anther, the process is called microsporogenesis, in which the cells of sporogenous tissue undergoes meiotic division to form microspore tetrads. Pollen grains are also called microspore. Like you can see here, different layers of sporogenous tissue. This is outer one epidermis, this is second one endothecium. Now middle layers, maybe 2 to 3 layers are present. These are microspore mother cell that will give rise to microspores, and the inner layer is called tapetum that provides nourishment to the developing microspore or pollen grains, you can say. You can see the layer here, this is epidermis, then this is endothecium, this is middle layer, and here it is sporogenous tissue. This inner one is called tapetum. Alright, you can see the developing pollen grains inside the anther, and when the anther fully matures, endothecium and epidermis get split off and the pollen grains come out. This process is called dehiscence of anther, and the process of formation of microspores is called microsporogenesis. As the microspores are formed in a cluster of 4 cells, that's why it is called microspore tetrad, and the cells that give rise to microspores that are called PMC, that is pollen mother cell. As I have told you, pollen grains are also called microspore and they are also called tube cell because they can germinate a pollen tube when they falls on stigma. Now coming to the structure of pollen grains, pollen grains represent the male gametophyte, and if we touch the flowers of hibiscus, we have a yellowish powdery structure on our hand. That yellow powdery structure that are called pollen grains that comes in our finger whenever we touch the hibiscus flower, that is commonly called China rose. If we see the pollen grains in different plants, they may have different shapes and different structures. But if we see the basic thing is that have a single nucleus, then it will then this single pollen grain cell undergoes mitotic division and it will form two cells, vegetative cell and generative cell. Alright, then this generative cell again undergoes mitotic division to give rise to two more cells that have a total 3 cell stage. One is vegetative cell and this generative cell divide into further 2 cells. So some pollen grains shed at 2 cell stage and some shed at 3 cell stage. So in generally 60% of angiosperms that are flowering plants, pollen grains shed at 2 cell stage. And if we talk about some other species, that pollen grains can be shed at 3 cell stage. So my dear students, this 2 cell stage and 3 cell stage, this is basically this generative cell that is undergoes one more mitotic division to give one more cell. Alright, so if we are talking about 2 stage cells, so that is one is vegetative cell and other is generative cell. But if we are talking about 3 cell stage, that means one is vegetative cell, and in that case generative cell undergoes one more mitotic division and it will form 2 new cells. Alright, now a very important question generally asked in exams: what are exine and intine? What are exine and intine? So my dear students, the pollen grains have a hard resistant outer layer that is made up of sporopollenin, and the hard outer layer is called exine, that is made up of a resistant substance that is sporopollenin. It can withstand with high temperature, strong acids, and even at alkali or basic pH. No enzyme can degrade this sporopollenin. It is absent or not present at a prominent aperture that is called germ pore. Very very important. This question is generally asked in pollen grains or exine where the sporopollenin is not present, or they can say that where it is absent. So it is a prominent aperture from which pollen grains have their they germinate their pollen tube, and that point is called germ pore. So germ pore is the point or is the part of pollen grain where sporopollenin, or you can say exine, is absent. As you have seen, these pollen grains can be preserved as fossils, and that is due to the presence of sporopollenin that gives it a resistant nature. If we talk about the inner wall of pollen grain, that is made up of intine, and this is thin and continuous layer that is made up of cellulose and pectin. If we talk about inside pollen grain, so it have two mature cells. One is vegetative cell, second one is generative cell. As I have told you, that generative cell may undergo further division to form two cells. Alright, if we talk about size of the cell, so this vegetative cell is comparatively bigger and have abundant food reserve as compared to generative cell. So sometimes the question will be asked in NEET exam that what type of how many mitotic divisions take place inside the pollen grain to form 2 cell or 3 cell stage. So if there is 3 cell stage, so there will be total 2 mitotic division in the pollen grain that have 3 cell stage, right? So, and in generally CBSE exams, the question asked is what is exine, what is intine, what is sporopollenin, and what are the 2 cells that are present in pollen grain. Alright, So this is all about the pollen grains. One more topic I would like to cover, that is pollen grains are generally rich in nutrients. That's why pollen tablets may be used as food supplements. In Western countries, you can see that the peoples of Western countries use pollen tablets for enhancing their performance if they are athletes, or in case of race horses, they use these pollen grain tablets. Once these pollen grains shed, they have a different viability period. Some may have for a week, some have in minutes, and some maybe in months or maybe in years. So if we talk about some cereal grains like rice and wheat, their pollen grains lose viability within the 30 minutes of their release. Whereas the members of other plant families like Rosaceae, Leguminaceae and Solanaceae, so they can maintain their viability for months. All right, and we can also store these pollen grains at liquid nitrogen at 196 in the pollen banks. My dear students, a specific term given here to preserve these pollen grains at low temperature, that is cryopreservation. Cryopreservation, this is a technique to preserve something at minus 196 degrees Celsius in liquid nitrogen, you can say. So this is all about pollen grains, and some pollen grains also causes allergy, that is pollen allergy, and that is called hay fever. Some pollen grains can also causes allergy and some bronchial infections, inflammation you can say, and that can lead to chronic respiratory disorders like asthma, bronchitis, in which the inflammation of the respiratory membranes take place. And if we talk about, is there any specific plant which pollen grains are allergic in nature, so that may be Parthenium, and that is generally called carrot grass, that came in India as a contaminant with imported wheat, and it generally causes pollen allergy in many people. So my dear student, a specific term given here is hay fever, right? Hay fever is a term that is given to the pollen allergy. Alright, so this is all about the brief idea about the pollen grains and the formation of pollen grains inside the anther, that is called microsporogenesis. And a little bit we have discussed about the structure of anther, structure of flower. So I hope this video will be helpful for you all. And because if you are NEET aspirant, and even if you are preparing for your CBSE exams, so this NCERT is very very important. So I will try to make videos from chapters that will be taken from NCERT along with the video lectures. All right, you can see video lectures of the topic sexual reproduction in flowering plants with in detail, you can say, with diagrams in class 12th playlist. All right, so this is all about the chapter from NCERT, and we will try to cover this chapter in next upcoming 2 to 3 videos. All right, so this is all about today. Goodbye.